Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Now redubbed by Disney, or current Lucasfilm, whichever way you slice, rice, and dice it. Legends. So today, we have the second book in the Jedi Academy trilogy, which is Dark Apprentice. Before I get into the actual book, it is not necessary, but I am going to talk about, real quick, a short story that was in Star Wars Adventure Journal number 15 called Firestorm. This is where we get to learn about a character that is in the second book called Tyone. Really, all you need to know is that she is a huge historian. She loves learning everything she possibly can about the ancient Jedi. A lot of references to Naomi Sunrider, which is stuff that happens way before Episode 1. And she goes to this station and has a information person get that information to Han, so that way Han can tell Luke, and then he can show up because, he's a Jedi, he's trying to start an academy, so he should have some knowledge about previous Jedi stuff that he can teach other people, besides the stuff that he learned from Obi-Wan and Yoda. So he meets her there, and they have a daring rescue escape to get out of there, and of course they do. It's a short story, but she goes to join him as a Jedi apprentice. And that's it for Firestorm. But it was actually a really, really good read. I really enjoyed it. It is not necessary, but if you can find it for free, like I did, I recommend getting it and reading it yourself. So now we'll get into the actual novel. I'm sorry, it's just frustrating me. I'm trying to make it perfect, but it doesn't like me. Luke is still feeling, anxious, nervous about teaching these new Jedi, because he doesn't want to do an Obi-Wan. He doesn't want to train someone and develop a relationship with them and care about them, only for them to turn to the dark side, like Anakin did for Obi-Wan. Now, this is me looking really deep into it, and these books that I'm about to mention real quick, they didn't even exist. They didn't even exist when these books were written, but it fits really well. And I think the theme of these three books, which I had noticed, is really powerful, especially because of later. I'm not going to get into specifics. Those who know, they know. But there's stuff with people in this book that I'll get to later. But in the future, and it's even more personal because of the character that people who understand what I'm talking about, in New Jedi, after New Jedi Order, is that this is someone really close, really personal, and Luke's been able to bring many people back. He brought his father back. There's a character in this that he's going to bring back. But not that other character in the future. Someone that he trained. And he can't do anything about it. There's no turning him back. And just reading that and thinking about the future, I was just like, oh my goodness, that sucks. It's such craziness. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, good. Read Legacy of the Force, though. Which I even haven't yet, but I got spoiled on a bunch of stuff. But anyway. So, yeah, that's something that Luke is afraid of. Leia is now Minister of State. So that's kind of cool, except that she's, busy, so she's still not seeing her kids as much as she would like and stuff. Wedge is here, which is cool. I don't remember him being in the last book, so it's nice to see him here, because we all love Wedge. My next note was Akbar is the man. Oh, so I haven't really gotten to spoilers. None of these are really spoilers, but let me just say, non-spoiler. There is an ancient evil at this Jedi temple. Dala's still doing her thing from the last book. Kip comes to Jedi Academy and interacts with this dark being. And if you want to know what happens from there, you're gonna have to read the book yourself. Otherwise, I'm getting right into it. So, as I was saying before, I realized I hadn't said a non-spoiler. Akbar is the man. He's always been the man. He's my fish boy, my homie. And though, unfortunately, I don't know what happened, but the ship that because him and Leia were supposed to be on a diplomatic mission, but something goes wrong, and he ejects the seat so that, Leia can be safe. And for a second, I thought he was going to be hurt, and he crash lands in this building. Now, I thought, oh my gosh, are they actually going to kill off Akbar? But no, they didn't kill off Akbar. They did kill off 300 people, though. 300 people died from that crash. 300 aliens that they were trying to be diplomatic with. And I don't know why, but I feel like, I don't know, it was just, I was surprised. Because, I was like, is he going to die? But at the same time, I'm like, he's Akbar, he's not going to die. And then he didn't die. But then 300 people died. And I don't know, it just took me off guard. I expected everyone to either be fine or to actually have Akbar be dead. And so, I don't know, I just thought it was good. Kip wants to get a chance to strike back against the empire that has ruined his life. And it's just another, it was already hinting in the last book, but here he is showing dark side tendencies again. Love Lando and Han so much is my next note. Sabacc for the Falcon. What I love, I always love their bickering over the Falcon. It's always a fun thing that they do. They did it in the Thrawn trilogy. They did it in the original trilogy. They do it here. But what I love is that, Han's really pissy because he just found out about what happened with Leia. So he's like really, really irritable. And Lando's getting pissed because you don't need to treat him that way. He's Lando, baby. But here we go. Just, being disrespectful to Lando because he's pissed off. And of course Lando's getting angry and angry and angry. And then he's like, I want the Falcon back because you freaking stole it from me. You call me, you're a cheat. And he's like, Han's like, how dare you call me a cheat? So then they do like a sabacc game. But then, he finds out that Leia's in trouble. He's like, Leia's in trouble. Forget the game. We can do it later. That's important because at the end of the day, Lando is his friend. And no matter how much they bicker, how much they fight, he's always going to be there for him. But it seems to me, shut up, you freaking titty. You were just fed, and she always does it. See, this is the most annoying thing. Because she won't talk. She'll sit there and be quiet throughout the entire day. And all of a sudden, I make a video for you guys, or the 0 people are watching, but for the 1 that checks it out every now and then she starts talking. It's really frustrating. But anyway, I love Lando and Han. I love the relationship. I love how, no matter what author it is, it seems like they get the Han and Lando right. And I've not seen an author yet that has screwed that up. So, I appreciate that. One of the students who are going with Luke is, I don't know if it's the girl that liked him. I don't remember. But it is a Dathomir witch from the Courtship of Princess Leia novel. So that's cool. He said, Luke, he's like, I'm still learning too. So while this is an academy, I can only teach you so much. There's stuff that you're going to have to learn on your own. Because there's so much we've lost over the Empire taking over. They erased so much of our history. There's so much we don't know. So we're going to have to work together to learn more. So it's more of a Jedi praxium. And the whole term Jedi praxium it's a huge thing in Legends. This place is a huge part of the Star Wars expanded universe. The Yavin 4. So that's really cool. Akbar resigns from his command, believing the crash was his fault. I don't believe it was, but he does. And what I love about Akbar is that we have Han, who's, like, rebel against authority, and you have Leia, who's, like, more of the diplomat, but then you have Akbar, who's somewhere in between, because he's, like, more of a military commander, but he's all about honor. He's all about doing things by the book, and he's just a really good person, and I really love, what's Akbar in the movies? Akbar is a fish guy that says, "Here's your trap." That's about it. That's what Akbar is in the movies. In the expanded universe, he is so much more, and it's awesome. The entire scene where Luke and Gantor's fight was a phenomenal scene. I could picture that so perfectly in my mind. Would have worked as like a television series, movie, whatever. That scene was awesome. The way it was written, the way, the rest of the Jedi students were being quiet. Because at this point, he's being affected by whatever this dark being is. We'll get to that. I mean, of course, if you're in the spoiler section, you probably know who I'm talking about. But we'll just go along with the notes here. But the way it was written, and just, he's like, how'd you make that? How'd you make a lightsaber? I haven't taught you that yet. Why don't we just calm down, Gantoris? But he's taking his lightsaber out anyway, just to be ready. And then what does he do? He freaking does a double lightsaber. That's right, baby. This is the first book to have a double lightsaber. In fact, just like the name Coruscant was taken directly from the Thrawn trilogy, people say, George Lucas never read the EU. He never read the EU. He used Coruscant from the Thrawn trilogy and made that the basically capital city, the capital planet in the prequel movies. Coruscant is a big name in the Star Wars universe. And it started in the Thrawn trilogy. You thought Darth Maul was the first one of a double-bladed lightsaber? You're wrong. It came from this book, and George Lucas liked it so much that he made Darth Maul a double-bladed lightsaber. But anyway, so he pulls out a double-bladed lightsaber on Luke, which is crazy. Of course, he defeats him. Mon Mothma vetoes the use of the Sun Crusher. She's like, we don't want to use the Sun Crusher, because they have the Sun Crusher now, because, the whole adventure with Han and stuff in the last one. And they don't want to be the Emperor. They don't want to be the Empire. They don't want to use a Death Star, or anything like a Death Star. They don't want to resort to that. Now, while I agree with the principle, and I agree with, not wanting to look like a dictatorship, or to look like you're lording this power over everyone else, this would be really useful against the Yu Song Vong. I don't know if it ends up getting used. I don't know. I don't know if it gets destroyed. It seems like it's pretty indestructible at the moment. But if they don't, it would have been pretty useful. They must not have it, because they probably would have used it against them. But we'll get to that a long while from now. Dala is hurting small worlds because Empire. I mean, there's more to it, but her story in this is kind of irrelevant. Han hugging Kip was so... You know what it made me think of, and this is just a wonderful thing about the expanding universe. This wasn't something intended. This is even probably something that a lot of people even think of when they're reading this. But I kind of teared up. And here's why. Not only because do I like the Han and Kip relationship. It's kind of like pre-son father relationship. His kids are still babies. But here's like a teenager. I mean, I know he's 18, but I'm 19. Here's someone around my age who hasn't really had his family around because he's been in the Kessel place. And he has, a sort of like father, uncle-ish figure with Han. But then I remembered the A.C. Crispin Han Solo trilogy. And that kid who lied about being a part of the family, about being a Solo. And then you remember? And then if you've read those, and then in the final one he dies. No, spoilers doesn't matter. This is way after that book. And he tells him, like, there's something I need to tell you, because he was going to tell him the truth. Then he's like, I know, buddy. I always knew. But you earned it. And I don't know, I feel like, it's my personal head noggin, that he kind of gets a reminiscing feeling of that kid through Kip. So I just really appreciated their dynamic, their relationship. I like it a lot, basically. I mean, I like that parallel, even though that couldn't have been intended because those books weren't written yet, but that's just a connection I made. Mara Jade. Mara Jade shows up. I wasn't expecting her to be in this series, but it's cool to see her. She was there, so that's nice. She was asking about Luke and stuff because she wants to learn more about her Jedi stuff for smuggling or whatever. Mon Mothma is dying. What? Apparently Mon Mothma is dying. I don't believe she's going to die, but she is dying at the moment. And now we finally learn who this evil, dark presence is. A huge name in the Star Wars Expanding Universe. Very important to pre-Episode 1 stories. Here we have Exar Kun. That's the Shadow. Shut up! Sorry. We have Exar Kun, who is a big part of the Star Wars comics that take place prior, way before Episode 1. If you want something, then come here and tell me. She can't actually tell me. I know what she wants. She's gonna have to wait. She wants a treat. She doesn't want normal food because I just fed her. Don't freak out. I feed my frickin' animal. She wants a treat. But yeah, so Exar Kun is the one that's been messing with them. And I love that. I love the huge continuity. This is over like 4,000 years of history combining with the present. It's really cool. And of course, he uses Kip next because Gantoris is dead. So now he goes to Kip, who's already been showing dark side tendencies. Kip goes and steals the Sun Crusher. He's been getting worse and worse, and now he's taking the Sun Crusher. And what's the first thing he does? He goes to Admiral Dala, blows up, or shoots a couple of the stars, and so he wants them dead. And I felt bad for them, which is weird because they're the Empire. But at the same time, they've shown that they're unique in a way because they were a very small part of the Empire. They're a small little faction out by the Kessel place, and here they are, having aliens on their ship and stuff, and it's just, I don't know, they feel like a slightly kinder, and she even says like, hey, if you give us that Sun Crusher, we'll let you go to any planet you want and we'll leave you alone. And I genuinely believe that she meant it. Admiral Dala, I mean. But of course, he's like, nah, I want you dead. And then, of course, we don't know what happens because we have to read the next book. Luke is out of the picture for now because Exar Kun did something. And that's how the book ends. With Luke out of commission, now what do? We have the best Jedi of our time at the moment gone. Unable to help. So that's pretty crazy. I enjoyed this book. I really don't see what the issue is yet, because I hear a lot of people say they dislike this book. It's very 50-50 people. They like it or they don't. I don't see the hate so far. I don't understand it. I really enjoyed it. If you didn't, let me know in the comment section below and let me know why it's crappy, because I don't understand you or why you feel that way. But maybe I'll feel that way about the third one. I don't know. But I certainly didn't feel that way about this one. I like this one a lot more than I like the first one. The Jedi Search was boring in comparison to this one. This one was a lot more fun. So, yeah, I'm excited for the third one, Champions of the Force. Hope you'll join me for that. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, give a thumbs up. Showing up a ton. Thanks for joining me on this great expedition through the Star Wars Expanding Universe. And I'll see you next time.